Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Matt Bernier for the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day. This one for Wednesday, January the 11th. It's race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. We're going 7 furlongs, and it's a maiden special weight. Let's take a peek at this field. Head on over to the DRF.com Race of the Day event page. Download those free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us, because we start down towards the inside. Louis Baby Boy has been on the board in his last 5 races. This is a solid, sneaky horse who ran into a good one last time.
Yeah, I was going to say, you look at Heck of a Shot, he came back and won next out, but I just look at this horse and say, at the end of the day, boy, he's not bad. Don't get me wrong, he's hit the board 6 times from 8 lifetime starts. Doesn't like to win, and I also wonder, we'll get to the big horse in a little bit, he's just going to need to run so much better if he's going to win.
He's going to have to run a little bit better. There's no doubt about it. But that Heck of a Shot that beat him last time, that's a Pletcher production in South Florida that came back off that race to win with a 91 Beyer speed figure. Louis Baby Boy, you get a feeling there's a race there for him to win. He's too good to be a career maiden for life.
Don't know if it's this one, though.
Not sure if it's this one. The number 2 is Blind Ruckus. This is a 4-year-old son of De Stoops, who's a half-brother to a stakes-winning dirt sprinter, 4-time second out of 10 lifetime starts. He was no match for Heck of a Shot. The problem was he was also, 8 lengths behind Louis Baby Boy.
You know, you just look at his overall body of work. Can you find one race that makes him reasonably competitive in here? I mean, I suppose if you go way back, but he's just not a horse for me.
He does have a little bit of speed, and we can expect him to be forwardly placed. The number 3 is the key to this race, the most likely winner on paper, the odds-on morning line favorite. The 3 Preservationist is at 3-5 for Jimmy Jerkins. 92 Beyer speed figure, the only time he raced. Here's the problem. That was way back on June 10th.
I would love to know what happened, because
Can't be good.
I got to be honest, I liked that race. I thought he was very good at Belmont. He was behind Bombs Away for Shug, who ran very well that day. You had a couple of next out winners come out of that race as well. Look, there's a lot to like about this horse visually. The obvious knock is where you don't just put away a promising horse that debuts and gets a 92 Beyer. He's making his second lifetime start as a 4-year-old. You also look at it, and you can, look, Formulator is a beautiful thing. You can either spin it for or against any argument you want to make. Jimmy Jerkins, past 2 years, 180-plus day layoff.
Okay.
0 for 15.
Ooh.
Past 4 years, 180-day layoff or greater, maiden special weight.
Right.
3 for 11.
Ooh.
With a 266 ROI. So pick whichever one you want. I think at the end of the day, if this horse can stand up, he should win this race.
But that's a question mark. He's a 4-year-old. He's only had 1 race. He's been away 6 months. He was bet like he was going to be a nice horse in that debut. You mentioned the effort, a good professional effort, retract inside, eased out. Just was no match for Bombs Away. You mentioned he was sharp. Bombs Away came back to run second again, and he got a 97 Beyer in his subsequent effort. Preservationist, working quickly for Jimmy Jerkins, way the horse to beat. The 4 is Collective Wisdom, half-brother to our good friend Mexicoma, which means he should want to go 9 miles.
Right.
The problem is, early in his career, they ran him 9 miles. He couldn't pick up his feet.
I just look at this horse overall and say, I mean, I suppose if you look at his 1 sprint, his 7 furlong race, best race by far of his career, maybe you want to use that as some sort of barometer for a spot like this, even though 71 Beyer, going to need to do a heck of a lot better than that.
The horse that finished directly ahead of him most recently came back to win, but that was in a $20,000 maiden claimer with a 68 Beyer speed figure. This horse might need some hitting up front. Formulator fact for the 5 and the 6, now dressed for success, Moe's Design, both first-time starters. This barn over the past 5 years with older horses on dirt, limited negative data, 3% and a 44-cent return on investment. I wouldn't hold this Formulator fact too much against these horses because they're both 30-1 on the morning line. We'll begin with the 5, now dressed for success. This is a $23,000 yearling buyback. He's a half to a grade 3 placed synthetic sprinter. The dam won the career debut and was multiple stakes placed sprinting on the dirt.
Now look, I'm not very familiar with the trainers, so you see all these big gaps between workouts. Maybe that's just what this individual does. I guess I just look at it and say, boy, the sire, now. 1 for 33 overall with his offspring. I mean, this is not a prolific pedigree here, even though you do have a little bit on the bottom of the 2. I prefer the 6.
The 6 is Moe's Design by top 5 stallion Uncle Mo. A $145,000 buyback as an August yearling, then a $75,000 buyback as an October yearling. He is, though, by Uncle Mo, and the dam's a full to Redding Collieri, who won the Hawthorne Gold Cup, a graded stakes race going 1.25 miles. There's a little bit of pedigree here. You always got to respect these Uncle Mo's.
I was going to say Uncle Mo's 16% with first-time starters. I don't love a 4-year-old debuting, making the first lifetime start, particularly when clearly people thought something of this one. They were willing to throw down some cash. Where's he been? If I had to take one of the two, I don't like either one of them, but if I had to, I'd take the 6.
Let's take a look at our Timeform US pace projector for our formulator race of the day, and it has the 7, Foreman the Foreman, clearing off and making the front, and Foreman the Foreman's got some angles going for him. Second off the layoff, moving from turf to dirt, and of course he's got speed.
Yeah, when you look at this trainer, David Brady, past 5 years, turf to dirt, second off the bench, 3 for 9 with a 366 ROI. It's a positive move for the connections. You know where he's going to be. And like you said, the pace projector lays that out pretty clearly. They're going to go on with him. I think if anyone's going to upset the race, it may be this horse. Having said that, I don't necessarily like him on top or even second or third because I think we're just setting ourselves up for what he's done in the past. Show big speed, go out there, fade late.
Now that's a good point. But the last time he was racing on dirt, it was a pretty solid race. That Avast Mady came back to run third against entry-level allowance horses with a 71. Mo Power came back to win with a 76, then was third, improving the Beyer to a 92. So he was in against good company, and now he's got a race under his belt. The number 8 is Verse. This is a beautifully bred first-time starter, trained by Michael Matz, not known for winning first out.
That's the biggest problem. Past 5 years, dirt sprint first-time starter, 3 for 60 with a 55-cent ROI. I love the pedigree, though. Like you say, first-time starter from Informed Decision. She was obviously a Breeders' Cup filly mare sprint winner, multiple Grade 1 winner, dirt sprinting. This one is one, I think, if you're looking at anyone and you're circling them, Preservationist is obviously the horse to beat in here. But long-term, I'd be very interested to see what this horse ultimately ends up being.
But you got to wonder, first-time starter
Probably
at 4.
not.
You mentioned it before. There've probably been some issues. Maybe Matz is just looking to get a race on the number 8, Verse. The 9 Morse code, beautiful pedigree. This one is by Tappet. He's a half to Honor code. He's a half to Noble Tune, a good turf horse. His dam was a stakes winner on the turf. Morse code's had 3 starts on dirt, only 1 on a fast track, however, and that preceded a little layoff.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I've been disappointed with him, and he runs like his older brother, Honor Code. He's just not nearly as good. You mentioned all the turf in the pedigree. I've got to assume if it doesn't come together here, you're going to see him on the weeds.
I'm with you. I think that's where ultimately the 9 Morse code's future line, but he attracts Javier for Shug McGahee. The third-place finisher from that most recent race did come back to win with an 83 Beyer speed figure. Let's take a look at our selections for race number 8. You and I wanted to get really clever in here, but we're just going to trust Jimmy Jerkins to have this favorite ready to go. The number 3 Preservationist is your top selection. The 3 Preservationist is my top selection. The question is, how do we make money in this race?
I don't know that there is a heck of a lot. If you like the 3, I would hook him up with the 9 underneath and just try to play some sort of cold exacta. I like the 8. I like the pedigree on that horse. And I guess if you wanted to use someone just really underneath, because I don't think, again, I think if anyone's going to upset it, it'll be the 7 Foreman, the Foreman. I just don't think he's going to be able to see out the 7/8 distance. The one last thing I'll say about Preservation is I'm very interested. Obviously, he's had physical problems. If you keep them together, I think this is a starting off point. You go back and watch the Belmont race. Not only was he professional, the gallop out was absurd.
He really galloped out.
Was absurd.
Fantastic.
It was like he didn't stop. He just kept going. This would be a horse, I've talked to a couple people recently. This older division is up for the grabs. I'm not suggesting that all of a sudden this is a Grade 1 type, but you debuted with a 92. If you can keep them together, I think he's a little interesting.
I'm going to try to get Louis' baby boy into the exacta here. He's consistent enough. He's been on the board in his last 5 races. He's got some tactical speed. I really respect the work his trainer Lisa Lewis does. So for me, it's going to be 3-1. And maybe that's the way we try to turn this 3 to 5 shot into something in our formulator race of the day. And if you happen to be playing the Wednesday Gulfstream card from home, here's the scoop. $100 worth of free bets, $100 sign-up bonus, $25 free bet. Try DRF Bets risk-free this winter. All you have to do is go to drfbets.com/free bet for all of the details. Approximate post time for the 8th at Gulfstream on Wednesday, featuring odds-on morning line favorite Preservationist, 4:02 Eastern. Good luck.